Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Sanda 739 digital analog military watch. Let's start out with the wrist check. Since we're reviewing a G-Shock-like watch, I'm wearing my actual G-Shock, my Casio GD350 G-Shock. And since I'm comparing digital watches, Grogo is wearing my Casio W800HM. Grogu said I should review that new Omega that has a 6,000 meter depth rating. I said I can't afford that. It's over $10,000. He said, what about all that money Movement paid me to review their watch and give it a glowing review? I said Movement never gave me any money and I didn't give it a glowing review. That's a myth. A myth. A myth. Yes. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. The watch did not come in a box. This is a $12 watch. Usually $12 watches don't come in boxes. Of course, I reviewed that $6 Cubus and it came in a little can. But I think a lot of the money of the Cubus went into the packaging. This is clearly a better watch than the Cubus. The AliExpress ad calls this a G-style military watch and shows a decked-out soldier wearing it. I remember when I was in the Air Force basic training, we weren't allowed to wear our watches during PT, and I got yelled at once for it. I could never figure out why watches weren't allowed. Maybe somebody accidentally swallowed one. G-style implies G-Shock. Even if you don't want to buy a G-Shock, when it comes to an affordable LCD watch with a resin strap, Casio, Timex, and even Armatron has you covered. So why buy this Sanda for $12 and wait 3 to 4 weeks when for just a little bit more you can get a proven brand? Well, is this a watch review channel or not? When you buy an ultra affordable watch on AliExpress, you never know if the watch you receive is going to match the picture in the ad. Thankfully, this one matches the pictures exactly and is what I was hoping for when I ordered it. I am not a G-Shock expert, and I do not know if this is actually homaging a particular G-Shock model or is just inspired by G-Shocks in general. I did a Google search for G-Shock and found a ton of watches that look similar but not identical. If anyone knows for sure, please comment. The watch is 44.4 millimeters if you measure at the bezel, but 52.9 if you measure at the case. It is 58 millimeters lug to lug. This is a big watch. It's 17.2 millimeters thick. Leg width doesn't really apply, but the strap is 30 millimeters and tapers down to 22. And it weighs 79 grams on the supplied resin strap. The case appears to be split in two with a top metal half and a bottom resin half. The bezel is integrated with the metal half and has sport watch, and then water resist on the bottom, and then it has labels for all the pushers, and it looks like the metal has a sandblasted finish. The dial has windows for the negative LCD display of the watch, then horizontal striping whenever it can. It has the Sanda name and 30 meters water resistance. There is a chapter ring with the indices and the minute markers. The hands are loom skeleton hands, except for they are so short that the skeleton part doesn't really help clear up anything that the hands cover up. The running second hand is not loomed. And then the analog portion of this watch is controlled by this rather large crown, and it is completely independent of the digital portion of the watch. They are not integrated at all. You have to set them independently. The digital displays are negative and kind of difficult to see. It's a good thing it has a pretty decent light because you'll use it a lot if you're looking at the digital display. On the top right, we have the day of the week plus the month and the day of the month. On the bottom, we have the running seconds and the time. And then we have a little P there for PM. The ad says time can be displayed in 24 hours, and you can do that, but it's not a toggle switch. When you set the hour, you set it for either AM or PM or 24-hour. So it's not a convenient switch. On the bottom right here, we have what I call the basketball. I don't know what it does. It just flashes every now and then. Then on the top left, we have what I call the 45 record insert. For you younger viewers, 45 RPM records had a really big hole in the middle compared to a normal record that had a little hole. So you always had to either get an adapter for the spindle, or you had to put one of these inside the 45. You needed this too if you were going to stack them on the spindle. And I have no clue what high and low means. The digital watch only has one time, so if you want 2 time zones, you'll have to use the analog as a second time. There is no daylight savings flag, so you'll have to manually set it when the time changes. In fact, it's changing this weekend. It also has a stopwatch and an alarm. Other than that, this is a fairly simple digital movement. It does not have a lot of features. The crystal is mineral glass. It sits well into the bezel, so scratches shouldn't be much of an issue. And the case back is very similar to most Casios. It just is this metal case back held together with 4 Phillips screws. It gives the brand name Sanda, the model number, and says water resistance 3 ATM. That's the minimal amount. And then it gives you the battery code. So it looks like it uses one of them big fob batteries, which is good because it's basically running 2 movements. So hopefully it will last a while. The strap is resin and not rubber or silicone. It is sturdy, which is good because you're not going to replace it. Unfortunately, it is a bit too sturdy and not as pliable as a Casio, and can be uncomfortable when wearing the strap tight. And since this is a big watch, even though it's not really a heavy watch, you still have to wear it a little bit tight, otherwise it just flops around. And once again, you cannot replace the strap. If you look at even if you try it with a G-Shock strap, because they are 2 different designs. If you look at my G-Shock, you'll see that it actually does have lugs, even though they're very thick lugs. And so the plastic part is in the middle. But if you look at this watch here, the actual lug is right there in the middle. It's like an inner lug. And these are plastic on the outside. So they're, think of one as male and the other as female. Then the strap has a sign buckle, which is fairly sturdy. It's not flimsy. And it has 1 floating keeper, which is good. I really don't like fixed keepers on a plastic strap. It just doesn't make any sense. They always have these little nibs and the thing never stays. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It's a big watch. It wears pretty nice though, because as you can see, the strap goes straight down, so it doesn't really stick out. And once again though, this strap is kind of hard, so it's uncomfortable to wear it too tight, but if you wear it too loose, the watch will flop around. So you gotta find just the right fit for it. And once again, if you don't like the strap tough, you're not going to change it. Here we are in the lume room. The watch has a backlight, so you don't need good lume, but it does have lume on the hand, so why not test it? As we speed up the time, you can see that the minute hand really isn't that bad. I've definitely seen a lot worse than this. The hour hand isn't as good, but once again, not awful. So I would rate this lume as not bad for a $12 watch. What do I like about this watch? Well, I like the physical appearance. It is a nice looking watch, especially for $12. And I like this backlight because it's an even backlight. Some backlights will just be a light on the side and then it will light up one side pretty good but do poorly on the other side. But this is a very even backlight. And it has a big key fob size battery, so hopefully it should last quite a while. And at least you know which battery to buy because it tells you on the case back. What are my gripes and groans? Well, the negative displays are difficult to see without the backlight. You can't change the strap. And the digital portion of the watch is very simple and only has the basic features. The 24-hour mode requires setting the hours and is not a toggle. Only has 30 meters of water resistance. And I'm not sure what the flashing basketball on 45 record insert is. Do I recommend this watch? If you're taking this into combat like the ad implies, then most definitely not. But the watch looks cool and is worth the $12 I paid for it. It's much better than the Kubus I reviewed not too long ago. Maybe if you go paintballing and want a watch that looks good with your camo, but you don't want to get paint all over your G-Shock, then this would be a good choice. Once again, it is worth the $12 it cost. You'll have to ask yourself if you want a $12 watch or not. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Sanda 739, and I will be back with another review or unboxing. Bye.